Hi, I'm here with Tom Abinanti of the 92nd Assembly District. He represents Greenberg and Mount Pleasant in Albany. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for giving me a chance to join you this evening. I'm sorry I couldn't make it with you in person. But I did want to congratulate all of you for your induction into the Sleepy Hollow chapter of Rho Kappa. I'm understanding that one of the basic core principles of the chapter is to be involved in service in the community. And it's really so important that young people do get involved in their community. You can have a major impact on what's going on around you. And working together, you can have an immense impact. Somebody once said the best use of your life is to spend it on things that outlast it. And you're starting off so well. So I commend you for your achievements, and I commend you for your service to the community.
First, I'd like to ask you what motivated you to enter first into politics, and why have you stayed active in the political scene?
Well, I've got interested in working in government and in politics when I was in college. I was searching for a way to be relevant, a way to have an impact on the world around me, and I decided I wanted to go into law, and I wanted to work in government. And I found the best way to do that was to seek elected office. So I worked for several other public officials, and then established a base in the community by working in the community. And fortunately had the opportunity to run for a Greenberg Town Councilman, and then after that to run for county legislator, and then to run for the New York State Assembly. And I found it very rewarding because it does give me a chance to have an impact on what's going on around us. You know, you sit back and you say, gee, I don't like that. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the way that's happening. Well, you have an obligation to step forward and to do something about it if you don't like what's happening. And that's what just keeps me going.
Yep.
Gives me an opportunity to make things better for people around us.
I'd also like to ask you, what's your method in solving issues in Albany today?
Well, I've always used what has been my own approach to resolving issues. Let me give you an example. It's probably the best way to explain it. I was fortunate to be able to pass a bill in Westchester County which requires safe storage of all firearms. So if you have a gun and it's not on your person, you have to safely store it, either in a gun box or in a safe or with a gun lock, so that it can't fall into the hands of somebody who might misuse it. We started working on this at a very contentious time. A police officer in Eastchester had been killed by a gunman who had a slew of guns. And everyone was asking, how did he get his hands on all of these guns? And at the same time, gun owners were defensive. They were afraid that somehow we were going to take away guns that they had a right to have. So the first thing we had to do was understand all of the issues dealing with the regulation of guns. Secondly, we had to understand the fears of people on both sides of the issue, and try to bring those down to a very understandable level, so that everyone could understand them once we understood them. Then we had to get people talking to each other. Then we finally drafted some legislation and polished it after we spoke with people on both sides. And then when we were done, we actually got it passed through the legislature, I think unanimously, because we had resolved the issues, we had brought everybody in, and we had a very good piece of legislation. So I think, first of all, it's choosing your issues carefully, making sure they're issues that people care about and that will make a difference in the community. Secondly, it's cooperation with people, bringing them all together, trying to reach out to them and hearing everybody from very, very different viewpoints. And lastly, to have a quality work product, so that the legislation that you're putting forward can't be criticized because it's sloppy or not properly done, but rather is applauded because it really goes right to the issue that you're trying to solve, and is supported by as many people as possible.
Now, there are a lot of people who don't believe they can make an impact in politics. What's your response to those people?
Oh, I think everyone can make a difference. And I hear this all of the time from young people saying, why should I get involved? It's a corrupt system. It's controlled by other people. Nobody's going to listen to us. I think that's wrong, because by and large, most people don't get involved. And it's only a handful of people who really do make a difference. So if you're an activist, if you really believe in what you're proposing, you can really make a difference. I got involved way back during the anti-war period. When I grew up, the Vietnam War was a major issue. And it was really a young people's campaign that turned politics around, whether they were working for Gene McCarthy or George McGovern or Robert Kennedy. To you guys, that's ancient history, but I was your age when those things were happening. And it was young people who staffed those campaigns, who motivated the politics of the time, and frankly really made a big difference. And if you look today, I think you see the Bernie Sanders campaign is composed of a lot of young people, and that's on the left. But if you take a look at what's going on the right, it's the same type of thing. It's young people who are motivated by conservative principles, who are coming forward and are moving the campaigns from so many of the candidates on the right. So young people really can make a difference. One, you have a fresh idea. You're seeing things differently than others have seen them. Secondly, you have energy, unbounded energy. I mean, so many of us are, so many people get tired after a while, but you get inspired when you have young people come out and say, hey, we can do this. And you also have a certain knowledge of the new times. You understand the technology just as a matter of course. You were brought up with this, and it's your world. You're going to inherit this world. Someone once said, we didn't inherit this world from our ancestors, we borrowed it from our grandchildren. And when young people come forward, they and speak out, they remind those in charge of that piece of wisdom, that we really are trying to shape this world, not for ourselves, but for other people who are younger than us and who are going to inherit it from us.
Now, finally, what legacy would you like to leave behind you?
When I was in high school, I had a Latin teacher who said that when he died, he wanted two words inscribed on his tombstone: Conatus est. He tried. And I think that's what I would like people to remember about me, that I tried to make things better. We didn't always succeed, but we tried really hard. We tried to move the ball forward, and I think that would be the legacy that I'd like, that people looked at me and said, he really cared and he really tried.
Certainly an admirable approach. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.